There was a time in my life when I thought it was over. No money, no hope, no reason to keep going. Maybe you know that feeling. When life hits you so hard, you start believing it's impossible to stand back up. When every door slams in your face, when failure seems like the only constant, when the voice in your head keeps whispering, just give up. But listen to me right now. The people who succeed in this world, they weren't the lucky ones. They weren't the ones who had it easy. They were the ones who refused to quit. If you're watching this right now, if you feel stuck, if you feel like giving up, don't. Because this video is going to change everything for you. I know what it feels like to want to give up. To feel like no matter how hard you try, nothing is working. Maybe you've been chasing a dream for years, but all you have to show for it is rejection after rejection. Maybe you've worked tirelessly on a business, a career, a relationship, and instead of progress, all you feel is exhaustion. Like you're pouring your heart into something that refuses to give back. And I know that voice in your head, the one that whispers, maybe it's not meant for you. The one that says, you're not good enough, you're wasting your time, just quit. And you start to believe it. You start to think, maybe I should stop. Maybe I'm just not meant to win. But here's what nobody tells you. Every single successful person you admire has been right where you are, stuck, hopeless, on the edge of giving up. The difference? They didn't listen to that voice. They kept going when everything in them screamed to stop. Think about this. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school team. Can you imagine? At 15 years old, he was told he wasn't good enough. But instead of quitting, he used that failure as fuel. He practiced harder than ever, turned rejection into motivation, and the rest is history. And he's not alone. J.K. Rowling, rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a worldwide phenomenon. Oprah, fired from her first TV job because they said she wasn't fit for television. Imagine if she had believed them. Imagine if she had let one person's opinion decide her fate. Now you might be thinking, Ed, that's great for them, but what about me? My situation is different. I don't have their talent, their resources, their opportunities. But let me tell you something. Your struggle is not a sign to quit. It's a test of how bad you really want it. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants the reward. But not everyone is willing to go through the pain to get there. Not everyone is willing to get knocked down 10 times and still get back up. But the people who do, they're the ones who make it. They're the ones who refuse to let failure define them. Right now, you might be in the middle of your hardest battle. You might be feeling lost, defeated, questioning if it's even worth it anymore. But I need you to hear me when I say this. You are stronger than you think. Your pain is not the end of your story. It's just the part where you decide to rise. Because the people who win in life, they're not the smartest. They're not the luckiest. They are simply the ones who never gave up. You ever notice how some people seem unstoppable? Like no matter what life throws at them, they just keep pushing, keep grinding, keep moving forward. What's their secret? What do they know that you don't? Here's the truth. They weren't born with it. They built it. And I need you to hear this. Every single person you admire, every success story you've ever heard had a moment where they almost quit, almost threw in the towel, almost walked away from it all. But something changed. Something in their mind clicked. And that's what I want to share with you right now, because once you understand this, you'll realize that giving up was never an option. Failure is not the end, it's feedback. Let me ask you something. When a baby is learning to walk and they fall, do they just stop trying? Do they sit on the floor, frustrated, thinking, well, I guess walking just isn't for me? No, they get back up. They try again and again until one day they take that first step. But somewhere along the way, we unlearn that resilience. We start believing that failure means we're not good enough, that if we don't get it right the first time, maybe it's not meant to be. That's a lie. And science backs this up. Psychologists call it the growth mindset. Studies show that people who see failure as a learning experience rather than a dead end are 70% more likely to reach their goals. Why? Because instead of breaking down when things go wrong, they analyze, they adjust, and they come back stronger. So from now on, whenever you fail, I want you to ask yourself, instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Say, what is this teaching me? That's how winners think. Every champion was once on the brink of quitting. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, got cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine if he let that define him. Imagine if he thought, well, I guess I'm just not good enough. But he didn't. He used that rejection as fuel. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. Steven Spielberg got rejected from film school 3 times. J.K. Rowling rejected by 12 publishers. What if they had given up? Now let me turn this on you. What if you are right on the edge of something incredible, but you just can't see it yet? What if the struggle you're in right now is just part of the process? Part of the story you're meant to tell later? The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not intelligence. It's how they think. Successful people don't see obstacles and think, this is where it ends. They think, this is where I grow. Your brain is a muscle. The more you train it to think this way, the stronger it gets, the more unstoppable you become. So, are you going to let a setback define you, or are you going to decide right now that nothing will stop you? Because if you make that decision today, that's the moment your story changes. All right, so we've talked about struggle, we've talked about mindset, but now let's get to the real question. How do you keep going when everything in you wants to quit? How do you push forward when your energy is gone, your motivation is low, and you feel like nothing is working? I'm going to give you 2 powerful strategies, proven, tested, and used by some of the most successful people in the world to help you break through the moments when you feel like giving up. 1, the micro goal technique. Progress beats perfection. Most people fail because they look at the big picture and get overwhelmed. They see a mountain and think, there's no way I can climb that. And guess what? They're right, because they're looking at it all at once. But here's the secret. You don't need to climb the whole mountain today. You just need to take the next step. This is called the micro goal technique. Instead of focusing on how far you have to go, focus only on what you need to do next. Hear how it works. Break your goal into the smallest possible step, something you can do right now. Instead of saying, I need to lose 30 pounds, say, I need to drink 1 glass of water instead of soda today. Instead of saying, I need to write a book, say, like, I need to write 1 paragraph today. Instead of, I need to be successful, say, I need to learn 1 new skill this week. Scientific studies show that our brains release dopamine, a motivation chemical, when we accomplish small wins. The more you win, the more your brain wants to keep going. This is why some of the most successful athletes, entrepreneurs, and artists focus on small daily victories instead of the overwhelming long-term goal. 2, the remember why method. Fuel your fire. Most people quit because they lose sight of why they started in the first place. They get tired, they get frustrated, they forget the reason they began. But let me tell you something. Your why is your greatest weapon. If you don't remind yourself of it daily, you will lose motivation. Hear how it works. Every morning, take 60 seconds to remind yourself why you're doing this. Is it for your family, your future, to prove something to yourself? Write it down. Say it out loud. Keep it in front of you. Studies in psychology show that intrinsic motivation, deep personal reasons, leads to long-term success more than external motivation. Money, fame, rewards. When your reason is strong enough, quitting is not an option. So now you have the tools, the strategies that separate those who give up from those who break through. These are not just ideas. These are proven, tested, and used by the most successful people in the world. But here's the real question. Are you going to use them? Because at the end of the day, success isn't about talent. It's not about luck. It's about consistency. It's about showing up when you don't feel like it. It's about pushing forward even when your mind tells you to stop. And trust me, your future self is waiting for you. And they are so damn proud that you never gave up. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that the difference between success and failure is just one more try, one more step, one more day of holding on? Because right now, in this exact moment, someone out there is pushing through the same struggle you're facing. Someone with no resources, no support, no reason to believe, but they're still moving forward. And do you know why? Because they refuse to let failure be the final chapter of their story. The truth is, the most successful people in this world aren't the smartest, they're not the luckiest, they're not even the most talented. They are simply the ones who refuse to quit. When everyone else stopped, they kept going. When it got hard, they dug deeper. When they failed, they learned. And when the world told them it's over, they looked life straight in the eyes and said, "Watch me." Michael Jordan, cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine if he had given up. Oprah Winfrey, told she wasn't good enough for television. Imagine if she had listened. Elon Musk, slept on his office floor, almost went bankrupt twice. But he kept going. And you might be feeling exhausted, broken, or ready to throw in the towel. But what if you're just one step away from your breakthrough? What if everything you've worked for is just on the other side of this moment? Would you really let a little struggle stop you? Would you really let one bad day define your entire future? No, you won't, because you are stronger than that. Listen, I get it. I've been there. I know what it feels like to want to quit, to feel like everything is against you. But let me tell you something that changed my life. Every challenge you face is preparing you for something bigger. Every hardship is shaping you into the person you're meant to become. You don't climb mountains by staring at them. You climb them by taking one step at a time. And you, my friend, are already halfway up. The view at the top, it's waiting for you, but you'll never see it if you turn back now. So right now, make a promise to yourself. No more quitting. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. You didn't come this far to only come this far. Keep pushing, keep grinding, keep believing, because the future version of you, the one who made it, the one who never gave up, is out there waiting. And trust me, they're thanking you for holding on. Now I want to hear from you. What's one thing in your life that you refuse to give up on? What's that dream, that goal, that vision that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you're still standing back up for? Drop a comment below and tell me, because trust me, when you put it out there, when you say it out loud, it becomes real. And not just to you, but to everyone else watching this, fighting their own battles, pushing through their own struggles. You never know. Your words might be the reason someone else decides to keep going today. And if this video lit a fire in you, if something inside you just said, you know what? I needed to hear this today, then don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, because that's how we spread this message to more people who need it. And If you're serious about leveling up, about becoming unstoppable, then make sure you're subscribed, because I've got more coming your way. This isn't just a video, this is a movement of people who refuse to quit, who refuse to settle. And if you're with me, if you're ready to go all in on your life, then let's make it official. Drop a fire emoji in the comments, because this is just the beginning. Now get out there and show the world what happens when you refuse to give up.